guys, it's so good to see y'all. I know it's been a little while. I'm super sorry, but there's a lot that's been going on in springtime in real estate, as I'm sure most of you suspect, has been a little crazy. And with this seller's market that we're still experiencing, things are still just moving at a very fast pace. So I haven't been able to make one of my videos that I like to make for y'all. So I had some time today and I thought, let's do it. So I did a video not too long ago talking about what a due diligence period is. It's basically a period of time that is a negotiable period of time. As a buyer, you are not automatically allowed to have a due diligence period. It is definitely a negotiated period of time that you negotiate with the seller. Most of the time, a seller will give a buyer a due diligence period of their choosing. It's usually about 12 days long here in New Orleans. On occasion, it'll be a little bit longer, and sometimes it'll be really short. It just depends. I received a contract a few days ago that had a very short due diligence period. I was actually a little shocked by it, but you know, if you can get it done in that time period, then great. During your due diligence period, we do our property inspections. And for that reason, property inspections, most people will usually mistakenly refer to your due diligence period as your inspection period, when in fact it is your inspection and due diligence period. The due diligence is to check out other things, which I'll do another video on that, because today what I really want to talk about is your home inspection and what happens during a home inspection and what is the benefit of doing a home inspection, because there's some benefits to it. There's also some reasons that people choose not to do home inspections, and those reasons change based on the property. It's a very subjective thing, so I don't really want to get into that. Today, I'm just going to talk to you about the joys of a home inspection. So in New Orleans, we do 3 types of property inspections in general. The first is your general home inspection. It's usually 2 to 3 hours long. Sometimes it's a little bit longer depending on the property, whether or not it's raised, whether or not it's more than 2,500 square foot. Those things factor into how many units is it. Those things factor into the length of the general home inspection. Secondly, we do a WDIR. We get a WDIR. That's a wood destroying insect report. It is when the property inspectors, usually a termite company who's licensed by the state, will do a inspection looking for wood destroying insects. You know, termites, wood destroying beetles, any number of other things that can come up. And what they'll do is they will give you a wood destroying insect report at the end of that inspection that will tell you if they found any active infestations, and also if they found any damage. Depending on your financing type, that report may be required by the lender. The third inspection that we do here, which I know is not common in everywhere else, is a sewer line inspection. A sewer line inspection is when a plumbing company runs a camera through the sewer line to make sure that it's intact, because we live in the swamp and the ground is soft here. So there is a chance that you may have breaks in the sewer line. And if there are, then that can be addressed. It can be repaired. It's not an impossible repair, but it is something that you want to definitely find out during inspections, because, you know, anything can happen. You know, how would it feel to close on your new house and a month later discover that your new construction doesn't have a sewer line? I mean, you know, that's kind of a big deal. So you do those 3 inspections. They run you a couple $100s. I know that the idea of spending $600 or $700 to have your property inspected that you don't own seems risky and like a lot of money. But if you're buying a house, which for most people is the most expensive purchase you'll make in your entire life. So if you're buying a house, which for most of you, it is the most expensive purchase you'll make in your entire life, then wouldn't you want to have it inspected? Wouldn't you want to spend a couple $100s to make sure that the house is in great condition? wouldn't you want to inspect it? Wouldn't you want to spend a couple $100s to make sure that the house is in great condition? I would. So I think spending that amount of money, it's a good investment. It's a good investment in that you are not buying a money pit. By the way, if any of you have not seen that Tom Hanks movie from the 1980s, I would highly recommend it. It is hilarious. But also an important lesson about real estate. So anyway, once you've done all your inspections, then you go on to, submitting an inspection response to the seller. Again, not going to get into that. That is a part of a due diligence video. Today we are just talking about property inspections and whether or not you should have them. So you do your inspections, you negotiate with the seller. There's one other round of inspections that you can do. And I'm going to be honest with you, some of my clients choose to do this, some of them do not. We always discuss it. And it just depends on what's in your inspection response. Your inspection response is essentially a list that you submit to the seller and the two of you negotiate about repairs. Again, I'm not going to get very in depth into that because it's another topic. But once you have your list of agreed upon repairs, then you want to re-inspect those repairs to make sure that they're done correctly. So what you do usually right before the after sales, usually within the last 10 days of the contract, is you want to have the house re-inspected. It's when you have usually the same company that did the initial inspection come out with the list of repairs, and they will go through and make sure everything's done correctly. If it's not done, then the agents kind of want to figure something out to make sure those things can get done as soon as possible. And then you want to maybe do a second re-inspection if you want. It's entirely up to you. I do have some clients who do choose not to do this step, primarily because sometimes the items on your inspection response may not warrant a full re-inspection. If they are cosmetic things or things that can be checked with things that aren't like major system components, maybe you have a relative who's a contractor who can look at those things for you, just any number of reasons. But it is an option, and I do think it's better to be safe than sorry, so that you don't, so that you have a pleasant buying experience, and so that you feel good about the house that you've just bought. Okay, guys, that is all I have for today. Enjoy the last bits of spring. We're getting into summer soon, and it's going to be very hot down here, but that's just the nature of living in New Orleans, tropical weather. All right, anyway, I'll see you next time.